Hi, everybody. It's Murph here with Insightful Accounting, and I have the guest of the hour. Joe Woodard is with me, who is, of course, not only the creator, but the host of Scaling New Heights. And we're going to visit a little about this year's show, and then Joe's going to kind of preview for you next year's show. All right, Joe, glad to see you, my friend.
It's great to be here, Murph.
So tell us how you think this year's show went. I mean, it was kind of bigger than ever.
Yes, it was our biggest one in 17 years. And, the best evaluation of a show is not what I think, but what the attendees think. So I've been walking around talking with the attendees, talking with the sponsors, and everybody, almost without exception, has said it's the best show ever. Even those that were exceptions said it is only because they liked maybe 2017 better or something. So I'm going to call this one a success.
You know, one of the things that I've noticed is there seems to be a lot more excitement this year from all of the participants, both the attendees and the sponsors.
Yes, they have been extremely excited. And I think the theme is part of that. It's actionable, make it so. I know that the branding that you see right here is already forward looking. That's 2026. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a minute. But make it so was the theme of this year's show. And, turning your ideas into action and turning them into orchestrated action, that's what everybody struggles with. I mean, David Allen was here, the definitive author of how to get things done. That's literally the name of his book. He said, even I fall off the rails and have to get back on where I'm not being as intentional as I need to be. So I think what we did with this theme on Make It So is we tapped into a universal need that resonated with everybody.
And this year's show also had a huge number of what I call newbies.
Yes, 433 is the exact number of first-time attendees. Now, every show, Murph, for the last 10 years has had between 300 and 450. So that's not uncommon, but that also says that something about the theme must have resonated. Something else it is indicative of is the way we're reaching up market. This year, we had more top 200 sized accounting firms than we have had in the history of the show. And that's to the credit of Deborah Deffer and her team who are consulting with those enterprise firms. They're bringing more and more of those into the conference, but it still remains its core audience. If you're a sole practitioner, you still make up 55% of the audience because there's just more of you than there are the top 200. I mean, last time I checked, Murph, there were about 200 firms in the top 200, right? So there's just going to be so many people. But there are tens of thousands of very small firms. So we represent the market that way. Means that there's a place for everybody.
Okay, so let's talk about next year's show. You stuck with the Star Trek
nods. They're nods to Star Trek.
Yes, and I think that's the 2022 series or something.
The last year, this year, and next year is a trilogy that three nods to Star Trek. Now, if you're watching this and you hate Star Trek, it's not about Star Trek. Okay, it's just for the people that like it, like Murph and I do. I think you like Star Trek, don't you? Okay, then yes. But so the people that like Star Trek, they get the nod, they appreciate the nod, but it's just a nod. What it's really about, when last year's theme was Boldly Go, well, obviously that's in the Boldly Go where no one has gone before, right? It was about courage in your practice. It wasn't about Star Trek. And this year, Captain Picard, who if you're not a Trekkie you've never heard of, he's the ball-headed captain, that might help you. But Captain Picard, we used to always say, make it so. That was his big thing of let's get the mission done, right? Deep cut reference. And then I think everybody knows from that opening Star Trek line, if you're a Trekkie or not, that it, strange new worlds, boldly go where no one's gone before. So our third and last nod to Star Trek out of the trilogy. Yes.
And really, can you give us a little hype about how that actually applies to next year's conference?
Oh, absolutely. So I don't know if you can see this theme. I think you can, but you'll notice that the strange and the world are not highlighted here. It's the new in 2026. So what we're telling people, Murph, is if you're going to boldly go, last year's theme, you're going to have that courage, and you're going to make amazing things happen in your practice, this year's theme. The third part of the trilogy is, unfortunately, you're doing it in a very strange world, right? Now, but that can also turn into, fortunately, you're doing it in a very strange world, because with massive disruption comes massive opportunity. So if AI, artificial intelligence, is intimidating to you, it's really just an opportunity. And if all of this private equity that's being infused into the market, over $3 trillion is being infused into the market to aggregate the market for firms to buy and sell, if that's strange, if that makes a strange world, it's also a new world. It's an opportunity for you to maybe buy other firms or maybe exit with a little money in your pocket, right? So anything strange can also be an opportunity. And we put the emphasis on build your new in the strange world. That's what it's all about.
And I noticed that you're having Daniel back from years ago when we tweaked out and tried Watson the same year that he was here.
Yes.
And I think it's exciting to have him return and see how his perspective on what AI is doing is changing.
Yes. And, he was the one that saw it coming around the corner best. You know this Murph because you've met him and you've heard what he's had to say. You might have read the book, but he wrote Future of the Professions, heavily researched book. He wrote it with, I believe it's his father or uncle, who's also Susskind, also a professor, a lawyer expert. But it's about the future of what's going to happen with artificial intelligence and the professions. And a lot of people who read that book, which he actually wrote in like 2016, he came and spoke in 2018. A lot of people thought that he'd lost his mind, like he had been watching too much Star Trek, or that it might happen 50 years from now. But he kept telling people it's going to come faster than you think. And he was right. So now he's going to come and tell us what's going to happen over the next 7 years so we can navigate the strange world. I'm really excited about his return to Scaling New Heights.
I'm going to just say, and I'm under embargo, so I can't actually mention names, but one of the large multinational firms is going to publish a survey tomorrow that indicates that if accountants and tax preparers have not adopted AI in the next 12 to 18 months, they're quite literally, this is my term for what they say, down the toilet.
Yeah. It is ignore it at your peril, and it's also obsess about it at your peril. So what I told everybody, Murph, is they've got to prepare. And what we said even at this show, because it can't wait 12 months for everybody to get this message, the message that WriteWorks gave from their main stage address was just get out there and start making prompts, start asking questions, start experimenting with it. You don't have to be an AI expert to go to ChatGPT and just ask it questions and figure out how it responds and what it does. But Murph, a lot of people don't know because they only hear about Grok and ChatGPT and Copilot. A lot of people don't know that there are specialized agents that are built just around your profession. So I don't know if it's called Tax GPT, but there's a GPT, generative AI, just for researching tax issues, which means it's going to be much more accurate and reliable than the general chatbots. So get out there and explore it. Ask what's going on. What's funny is if you ask GPT what the other GPTs are, it'll tell you, right? So you can start there. That's the door you can walk through. And then from there, I would say, don't think you have to be a coder to use AI. You just need to be a subscriber to use AI. And a lot of the technologies that are on our show for this year and next year are bleeding edge artificial intelligence platforms. You just need to go shopping and start using.
And so, folks, one of the best ways that'll help you prepare is by attending next year's conference.
I agree with you, Murph. I'd love to have them. That's scalingnewheights.com.
All right. Thanks, Joe, for being here.
Thanks for having me, Murph.
Yep.
Thank you.